You are not losing because you lack strength. You are losing because you keep proving yourself to people who do not deserve proof. You keep stepping into arguments as if they were arenas where the strongest man wins. You think confrontation shows power. You think raising your voice, exposing the lie, calling it out, forcing a decision, forcing clarity, and forcing truth will make people respect you. That is the training. That is the trap. You are trained to be helpful. You are taught to be agreeable. You are taught to handle it like an adult, which really means explain yourself until you are empty and then accept whatever the other person decides. You are trained to think that being direct is the same as being dominant. It is not. It is often the opposite. Look at the micro scenarios you already live in. At work, a coworker takes credit for your idea in a meeting. You feel the heat rise. You want to correct them on the spot. You want to confront. You want the room to see you. But the second you do it, you are no longer the creator of value. You are now the man begging the room to judge fairly. You turned yourself into a complaint. In relationships, she disrespects you with a small comment, not a complete betrayal, just enough to test you. You feel the need to confront. You want to interrogate. You want to communicate. You want to ask what she meant. You want to force the apology. But the moment you need her words to confirm your worth, you are already under her control. You accepted her frame. With friends or family, someone makes a joke at your expense in front of others. You want to snap back. You want to defend your name. You want to confront them later. But if you do, you teach the group something dangerous. You teach them that our approval is expensive. You teach them that a string can pull you. You teach them that you can be managed. You think confrontation is strength because you imagine strength as movement, noise, force, immediate action. You imagine the predator as the one who charges. Real predators do not charge when you want them to. They move when it benefits them. They do not react, they decide. Machiavelli understood this, not as a motivational quote, as a cold permission slip. He did not romanticize honor. He did not worship fairness. He looked at how power behaves when no one is watching, and he knew something you keep forgetting. Most confrontations are not about dominance. It is submission disguised as courage. It is you showing your opponent exactly where to press. Put your phone face down and listen. I am going to tell you the truth in a way most people cannot handle. I am going to lay out the power shifts that make a quiet exit stronger than any confrontation, not because it is nicer, not because it is mature, because it wins, because it protects your reputation, because it reduces escalation risk, because it prevents you from being dragged into someone else's court, because it keeps you in control. Most people will leave after the first few minutes. They will call it toxic. They will call it avoidant. They will call it avoidant. They will call it cowardly. That is fine. They are loyal to their conditioning. They need the illusion that loudness equals strength. They need the illusion that fairness exists in real time. They need the illusion that explaining yourself changes people. If you stay, you separate from the herd. If you ignore this, you stay controlled. You stay reactive. You stay available. You are easy to manipulate. If this hits you, write, "I am the strategist" once in the comments, just to mark the day your mindset changed. Now listen closely. The first thing you need to accept is that confrontation is often a gift to the other person, not because it gives them truth, because it gives them attention, it gives them importance, it gives them a stage, it tells them they have the power to make you move. People do not escalate with you because they are confident. They escalate because they want to pull you into their frame. They want to force you to play their game. They want you to explain. They want you to defend. They want you to react because your reaction proves they matter. When you confront, you announce dependency. You announce that you require their participation for your stability. You hand them authority. You become the one being evaluated rather than the evaluator. Think about how arguments actually work in real life. The person who wants confrontation is rarely chasing the truth. They are chasing leverage. They want to force you to say something that can be used against you. They want you to be emotional. They want you messy. They want you to over-explain. They want you to contradict yourself. They want you to show your fear, your anger, your need for validation, and you keep giving it to them because you think clarity is the goal. Clarity is not the goal. Control is the goal. A quiet exit does something that confrontation cannot. It denies them the arena. It denies them your attention. It denies them the performance. It denies them the satisfaction of seeing you react. It denies them the chance to shape your words into weapons. When you remove yourself without drama, you create a vacuum. And vacuums do something the weak do not understand. They force other people to fill the silence with their own fear and assumptions. Silence makes people talk. Silence makes people chase. Silence makes people invent stories. Silence makes people reveal their real motives. Noise hides motives. Noise lets people pretend it is about principles. Silence shows what it is really about: control, status, and who gets to decide the terms. You have been told that the strong confront. That is a child's idea of strength. A grown man with absolute power does not confront unless confrontation is profitable. He does not fight because he is offended. He fights because the outcome is beneficial. Otherwise, he exits quietly, cleanly, strategically. Here is a situation. A manager at work starts testing you. They assign you extra tasks with vague expectations. They criticize you publicly for small things. They do it with a smile. You feel the urge to confront. You want to set boundaries. You want to call it out. You want to demand respect. But look at the structure. That manager holds institutional power. They control your evaluation. They control visibility. They control the narrative inside the company. If you confront them emotionally, you step into their court. You hand them the exact story they want. He is difficult. He cannot take feedback. He is unstable. You accepted their frame. A quiet exit flips the frame. Instead of arguing, you document, you detach, you reduce availability, you take meetings with other teams, you build relationships above them, you shift your value out of their control. You apply elsewhere, you transfer, you leave. Not with a speech, not with a dramatic resignation letter. You leave them with the consequences, not the conversation. That is what Machiavelli would respect, not your feelings, your positioning. Confrontation makes you appear low status. A quiet exit makes you visible in a high status way. Because high status men do not beg for fair treatment, they choose environments that reward them. They move. They do not plead. Another situation, a woman begins to test you. She flirts with attention from others. She delays replies. She gives you mixed signals. Then she watches you. She wants to see what you do. Many men confront. They demand explanations. They ask, "What are we?" They ask, "Why are you doing this?" They try to force clarity. That feels strong because it feels direct. It is a weakness because it shows a need. It tells her she has leverage over your emotional state. It tells her she can create turbulence and you will chase stability. It tells her she can threaten your certainty and you will negotiate. A quiet exit does the opposite. You do not interrogate, you do not accuse, you do not demand, you remove access, you slow your attention, you become scarce, you do not punish, you stop investing, you stop showing up where you are not respected, you let the silence do the work. Now she is forced to interpret your absence. She is forced to ask herself what she lost. She is forced to feel the consequence without the comfort of your explanation. Because explanations are comforting, you are giving them a pillow to sleep on while they disrespect you. People use confrontation to keep you engaged. They will even apologize to keep you close, not because they respect you, because they like control. A quiet exit is not a tantrum, it is a decision. It is the removal of your attention. Attention is currency. Attention is status. Attention is approval. When you stop paying, the other person feels it immediately, even if they pretend they do not. Here is where the moral inversion hits. What feels good is weak. What feels cold is effective. Confrontation feels good because it gives you the illusion of power. You feel alive. You feel righteous. You feel like a man who stands up for himself. But often you are just feeding the other person's appetite for drama and attention. You are giving them the fight they wanted. You are confirming they can pull you out of your frame. Silence feels cold because it denies your ego a performance. It denies you the moment when you imagine you won with words. It denies you the satisfaction of making them admit something, but that satisfaction is expensive. It costs reputation. It costs emotional control. It costs future leverage. Machiavelli would not be impressed by your speech. He would be impressed by the outcome. He would be impressed by your ability to leave without begging. He would be impressed by your ability to vanish from a situation that is designed to trap you. People say, but if I do not confront them, they will think they got away with it. That is your ego talking. That is your need for public justice. That is, you want a scoreboard. Absolute power does not need the other person's agreement. Absolute power does not need the other person to admit guilt. Real power moves forward and lets the other person sit with uncertainty. Uncertainty is punishment. Uncertainty is dominant. Uncertainty is you controlling the story by refusing to participate in their version. You need to understand something about reputation damage. Most men lose reputation not because they are wrong. They lose reputation because they look reactive. They look emotional. They look like they can be provoked. Once people learn that about you, they start testing you for sport. They start pushing buttons to see you respond. They start managing you. You do not want to be managed. You want to be respected. Respect is not people liking you. Respect is people calculating the cost of crossing you. Confrontation often lowers that cost. It shows them your pattern. It shows them your triggers. It shows them your need to be understood. It shows them you will show up to argue. It shows them you will invest energy in conflict. That tells them you can be baited. A quiet exit raises costs because it removes predictability. It removes access. It eliminates the chance to negotiate. It eliminates the possibility of you spinning. People fear what they cannot reach. People fear what they cannot read. People fear the man who does not explain himself. Here is another reversal. When you confront, you are trying to control the other person's behavior. When you exit, you control your own behavior. One is weak, one is strong. Trying to control other people is a sign that you do not control yourself. That is why you get dragged into escalation. That is why things get messy. That is why words become screenshots. That is why private discussions become public stories. That is why your name gets framed as aggressive or unstable. A strategic exit prevents escalation risk. It cuts the chain before it becomes a rope around your neck. Imagine a friend group where one person keeps disrespecting you. They throw small jabs. They undermine you with jokes. They do it when others are present. If you confront them loudly, you become entertainment. The group will watch. The group will judge. The group will decide who is overreacting, and the disrespectful person will smile because they got what they wanted. They got you to perform. You stepped into their court. If you confront them privately, they will deny. They will minimize. They will call it a joke. They will say you are sensitive. They will flip it. You will find yourself defending your feelings. That is humiliation disguised as resolution. A quiet exit changes the entire structure. You stop showing up. You stop answering. You stop being available for jokes. You do not announce it. You do not explain it. You remove yourself from the stage where they feel brave. Now they have to explain your absence to the group, and whatever they say will reveal them. If they smear you, they expose hostility. If they act confused, they expose their lack of control. Either way, you are no longer the target. You became the devaluator. You left them in a position of evaluation. This is how frame warfare works. The moment you argue, you accept the other person's frame, that the issue deserves debate. You acknowledge that their accusation warrants your time. You acknowledge that their disrespect is an invitation to discussion. That is why confrontation is often the weak man's move. It treats the attacker as an equal authority. A quiet exit treats the attacker as irrelevant. Irrelevance is the most profound insult in power dynamics. People can handle hatred. They can handle criticism. They can even handle boundaries because boundaries still acknowledge them. What they cannot handle is dismissal. What they cannot handle is the feeling that they do not exist in your decision-making. Machiavelli would call this a form of control without violence. You are not attacking, you are removing. You are withdrawing approval. You are withdrawing attention. You are withdrawing access. You are letting scarcity do the work. Now look at another real situation. Someone spreads a rumor about you. Your instinct is to confront them. You want to clear your name. You want to go to the source. You want to demand an explanation. You want to gather people and set the record straight. This is where reputation damage becomes permanent, because confrontation spreads the rumor further. Every person you try to correct now knows the story. Every person you ask for support now associates you with drama. And the rumor spreader now has proof you are bothered, which makes the rumor feel true. You accepted their frame again. A strategic exit looks different. You do not chase the rumor. You do not run a PR campaign. You do not plead for fairness. You tighten your circle. You keep your behavior clean. You keep your output strong. You keep your posture calm. You let time and consistency crush the rumor while you remove access from anyone who entertains it. You do not fight shadows. You build a position. When people see you stable while others are unstable, they assume you are the authority. When people see you quiet while others are loud, they think you have information. When people see you moving forward while others are stuck in talk, they assume you are valuable. That is the psychological mechanism. Humans read signals. They do not read the truth. Truth is slow. Signals are immediate. Confrontation signals insecurity. Quiet exit signals control. Here is the subsequent reversal. Confrontation tries to win the moment. Quiet exit wins the timeline. The weak man wants immediate satisfaction. He wants the apology now. He wants the confession now. He wants the victory now. He wants the other person to look small right now. That is ego. That is hunger. That needs to be seen. The strategist plays for weeks, months, years. He protects his reputation. He protects his options. He protects his calm. He does not trade long-term leverage for short-term emotion. That is why silence is stronger. Silence preserves your future moves. Words lock you into positions. Words plight commitments. Words create screenshots. Words create stories that others can twist. Silence keeps you flexible. Silence keeps you unreadable. If you are constantly confronting, you are continually being pulled into someone else's time frame. They provoke, you respond. They accuse, you defend. They test, you explain. You become their puppet. Quiet exit breaks that cycle. It teaches people that their attention is not guaranteed. It teaches people that your presence is earned. It teaches people that disrespect does not get discussed. Disrespect gets distance. You need to see how people weaponize communication. They will tell you, we need to talk. What they mean is, I need access to your mind so I can manage the story. They will tell you, be mature. What they mean is, do not make me feel consequences. They will say to you, you are avoiding it. What they mean is, I am losing control of you. Do not accept those frames. You are not required to explain your boundaries to people who benefit from crossing them. You are not required to confront every violation. You are not required to announce your standards. Your standards show in your actions, not your speeches. A quiet exit is a standard in motion. Now apply this to a workplace conflict where someone tries to bait you into emotional reactions. They send passive-aggressive emails. They copy your boss. They use polite words with hostile intent. If you confront, you will likely do it in writing, and writing is a trap, because your words will live forever. Your tone will be judged. Your sentences will be forwarded. Your anger will be framed as unprofessional. A strategist does not give them that weapon. You respond with minimal words. You stay factual. You keep receipts. You build alliances. You let their behavior become a pattern that others can see. And if the environment stays toxic, you exit to a better position without the need to win the argument. Winning arguments rarely improve your life. Improving your position improves your life. Machiavelli did not tell princes to be right. He told them to be secure. He understood that the crowd loves drama but respects results. He understood that appearance matters more than confession. He understood that the man who stays composed looks like the man who holds power. That is why a quiet exit wins. It protects the appearance of control. And appearance is not a cosmetic detail. Appearance is the tool of authority. Here is another situation. A family member keeps crossing boundaries. They guilt you. They use history. They use obligation. They provoke you into defending yourself. They call you selfish. They say you changed. They accuse you of disrespect. If you confront, you step into a lifetime of emotional debt. They will bring up the past. They will cry. They will recruit others. They will make you the villain. They will use the family structure to trap you. And you will find yourself explaining your adulthood to someone who prefers you to be obedient. Quiet exit is the only move that works long-term. You reduce contact. You shorten conversations. You become less available. You do not argue about what is fair. You make decisions and let them feel it. You do not attack. You stop participating in the guilt economy. This is not cruelty. This is not a game. This is realism. Most men are controlled by guilt and the need to be understood. That need keeps them in weak positions. It keeps them in, quote, manipulation. It keeps them negotiating with people who have no intention of changing. A quiet exit is you refusing to negotiate your frame. Now the deeper mechanism, confrontation, gives your opponent information. Quiet exit starves them of information. Information is power. If they know what triggers you, they can trigger you. If they see what you want, they can dangle it. If they know your fears, they can threaten them. If they know you need closure, they can deny it and keep you chasing. When you confront, you reveal everything. You vindicate your priorities. You reveal what hurts. You reveal what you will tolerate. You reveal where your ego lives. You give them a map. When you exit quietly, you give them nothing. They do not know if you are angry, bored, or already moving on. They do not know if you are plotting, laughing, or forgetting them. They do not know what to do, and uncertainty makes people unstable. That instability is your leverage. People think dominance is aggression. Dominance is often restrained. Dominance is the ability not to react when a reaction is expected. Dominance is the ability to leave without begging. Dominance is the ability to let someone face the consequences of their behavior without offering emotional comfort. This is where most men fail. They exit, but they announce it. They send a long message. They explain every reason. They list every violation. They demand acknowledgement. They demand closure. That does not exist. That is confrontation in disguise. That is you trying to control their interpretation. That is you trying to force them to see you as reasonable. That is approval seeking. A proper strategic exit is quiet. It is clean. It is minimal. It is behavior, not speech. You do not need them to understand. You need them to feel. Now understand how scarcity creates value. People value what they can lose. People do not value what is always available. When you confront, you show you are still there. You show you are still invested. You show you can be pulled back into engagement. That reduces your value in their mind because you are predictable. When you exit quietly, you become scarce. Scarcity increases value. Scarcity increases curiosity. Scarcity increases respect. Even if they do not like you, they will calculate you differently. This matters in dating, business, friendships, and social circles. The man who can walk away without drama is the man who cannot be exploited easily. He is not desperate. He is not hungry for approval. He does not chase fairness. He chooses outcomes. Now let's talk about the illusion that confrontation shows strength. This illusion is popular because it protects weak people from reality. It tells them they can be powerless in terms of results, as long as they are loud in their expression. It tells them that standing up is the same as winning. It is not. You can stand up and still lose your job. You can stand up and still lose the woman. You can stand up and still lose your reputation. You can stand up and still become the story they use against you. Strength is not the act. Strength is the position you hold after the act. A strategic exit is not passive, it is active positioning. It is selecting the battlefield or refusing the battlefield entirely. Machiavelli's world was not polite, it was not fair, it was not fair, it was not based on good intentions. He saw that people respect power, not please. He saw that people follow the man who looks in control, not the man who seems wounded. So you stop trying to look wounded in an honorable way. You stop trying to be the noble victim. You stop trying to win sympathy through confrontation. Sympathy is not power. Sympathy is a leash. Another reversal. Confrontation invites negotiation. Quiet exit ends negotiation. When you confront, you create a conversation. Conversations can be twisted. Conversations can be delayed. Conversations can be minimized. Conversations can drain you. The other person will say, "Let's talk later." They will say, "You misunderstood." They will say, "You are overreacting." They will say, "I did not mean it that way." They will say, "Why are you so intense?" They will drag you in circles until you are exhausted, and then you will accept less than you wanted to stop the conflict. That is how you get controlled. Quiet exit removes the option to negotiate. You are not asking, you are deciding. You are not requesting respect. You are requiring it by removing access when it is absent. This is why people call it cold, because coldness is what they feel when they lose their ability to influence you. Now understand escalation risk. Many confrontations start small and become disasters. A text argument becomes a phone call. A phone call becomes yelling. Yelling becomes accusations. Accusations become threats. Threats become public, damaging the public's reputation. Reputation damage becomes lost opportunities. Men who confront impulsively think they are protecting their dignity. They often destroy it. A strategic exit is risk management. It keeps your name clean. It keeps you out of the mud. It keeps you from saying something that becomes a permanent scar. It keeps you from being framed as the aggressor. Because here is another reality. The person who provokes you is often waiting for you to react so they can claim victimhood. They want you to be the bad guy. They want you to give them a story. They want you to look unstable. Silence denies them that story. Distance denies them that story. You remove yourself and now they have to find someone else to fight. Or they have to sit by themselves. Either way, you win. Now you need to see the final part of this. A quiet exit is stronger because it creates a hierarchy without announcing it. When you confront, you act like a peer. You argue like equals. You seek mutual understanding, that is, peer behavior. When you exit quietly, you act like the authority over your own attention. You act like the gatekeeper. You act like a judge. You act like the man who decides who gets access and who does not. That is hierarchy, and people feel it. You do not need to say, "I deserve respect." You show it by refusing to engage without it. You do not need to say, "Do not treat me like that." You show it by disappearing when they do. You do not need to say, "I will not tolerate this." Your absence is the policy. This is why silence is controlled. Silence is authority. Silence is dominance. Silence is you staying in your frame. Now, integration. Look at what happens when you keep confronting. You become socially visible in the wrong way. You become the man who reacts. You become the man who always has issues. People start tolerating you rather than valuing you. They keep you around for utility, not respect. They manage you with small rewards and small apologies. They give you just enough to keep you engaged. You lose leverage because your attention is cheap. You give it away in arguments. You give it away in explanations. You give it away to people who enjoy pulling you off center. You become the man being evaluated rather than the evaluator. You start asking, was I wrong? You start asking, did I overreact? You start asking, how do I make them understand? And now you are trapped. Because the more you chase understanding, the more you confirm you need their approval. That is social invisibility, not being unseen and being seen as manageable. And once you are manageable, you are not respected. You are used. Now look at what a quiet exit does over time. Silence creates fear, not because you are scary, but because you are unpredictable. Distance creates authority, because people assume you have options. Scarcity creates value because people feel the loss of access. When you do not confront, the other person cannot easily label you. They cannot easily frame you as emotional. They cannot easily say, he is unstable, because you did not perform, you did not give them the clip, you did not provide them with the quote. You stayed clean. You let them carry the mess alone. This is not cruelty, this is not a game. This is realism. You are not responsible for making disrespectful people comfortable. You are responsible for protecting your position. Machiavelli is not a morality teacher. He is permission for reality. He shows you what happens when you stop worshipping fairness and start respecting leverage. A quiet exit is leveraged because it removes your resources from their control, your time, your attention, your presence, your emotional labor. Those are resources. When you withdraw them, you change the balance. People who relied on you will suddenly feel poor. People who disrespected you will suddenly feel exposed. People who took you for granted will suddenly feel uncertainty, and uncertainty forces behavior or change more than confrontation ever will. Confrontation gives them an opponent. A quiet exit gives them a void, and most people cannot handle a void. They will try to fill it with contact, apologies, gifts, and explanations, or they will smear you. Either way, you learn who they are, because when you step back, people reveal their motives. A man who respects you will approach calmly, with accountability. A manipulator will approach with confusion, guilt, and blame. A user will approach only when they need something. A coward will talk about you behind your back. Silence makes these differences obvious. Noise hides them. So stop thinking you are Mecha because you confront. That is a comforting lie. Sometimes confrontation is necessary, but it is not your default. Your default is control. Your default is distance. Your default is selection. Your default is strategic exit. Now here is the uncomfortable truth. Often you confront because you fear losing the relationship, the job, the connection, or the approval. You confront because you want to fix it. You confront because you think that if you say the right words, they will finally see you. That is the helpful, obedient training again. Powerful men do not beg to be seen. They position themselves where they are caught. They do not chase approval. They let approval come to them as a response to value and scarcity. They do not explain themselves respectfully. They remove themselves until respect is the entry price. This is what a quiet exit reveals about you to the world. You are not a man who can be baited. You are not a man who can be guilted. You are not a man who needs closure. You are not a man who needs the last word. You are a man who decides. Now the closing. You are going to remember a simple reality. Confrontation is for people who need the other person to agree. Quiet exit is for men who do not require agreement to act. Confrontation is emotional. Quiet exit is strategic. Confrontation creates escalation risk. Quiet exit reduces risk. Confrontation gives them attention. Quiet exit removes currency. Confrontation hands them authority. Quiet exit keeps you in your frame. Your challenge is clear. The next time someone tries to pull you into their court, do not debate, do not defend, do not over-explain, do not seek approval. Go quiet, Step back, remove access. Let the silence speak. Let distance do the work. Let scarcity create value. Watch who chases. Watch who collapses. Watch who reveals themselves. If you want more of this, you know what to do. Like the video if it matched your experience. Subscribe if you prefer reality over comfort. Share it with the one man you know who keeps fighting battles that make him smaller. If this hit you, write "I am the strategist" once in the comments, just to mark the day your mindset changed. Now move like the man who does not argue for his power. Move like the man who uses silence as control. Move like the man who exits before the trap closes.